He's Andrew Greif. I'm Tyson Alger. We're coming to you from the Autzen Stadium press box following Oregon's 46-27 win over number 7 Michigan State. Big statement win for the Ducks, one that's obviously going to help them down the road when it comes to college football playoff rankings and just kind of getting over that hump of being able to beat a big physical team. They have a much different opponent coming in next week with Wyoming coming to town on Saturday for 11 a.m. kick. And though Wyoming's probably not as sexy of a game coming up, there are definitely some things throughout this week that the Ducks are going to be looking for. There was a couple injuries today and just like some poor play at certain positions. Andrew, what are some things that you think are going to be key coming up?
I think, Oregon's offense goes when it can run the ball. And tonight they lost kind of a key part in running the ball with Andre Irritagawania, the right tackle. He'd been playing pretty well. He talked about having a lot more confidence now he's a starter. But he got his ankle rolled up on at some point. And Tyrell Crosby, the true freshman, who Scott Frost, the offensive coordinator, said was the unsung hero of fall camp, the guy who was actually one of the biggest stars. He came in, played okay. Mm-hmm. He's going to have to be better. He got beat up a couple times, got burned, but in general did pretty well.
Yeah, offensive line coach Steve Greatwood was actually really pleased with the way Crosby played. Coming in, it's his second game as a player, and you're playing against number 7 team in the country. I kind of thought it was interesting how the running, and I asked Helfrich about this, and I wasn't insinuating that once Andre left, then all of a sudden stuff started getting better, but just coincidentally, the running game started working when Crosby was in there, with Royce Freeman bouncing it out to the right side, and Greatwood just said Crosby did a great job for this kind of young of a player coming in here.
Oregon ended up averaging 4.3 yards per rush. Not a game that you're going to walk away from thinking, wow, they really ran the ball well. But they did what they needed to do, and a lot of that was Marcus Mariota. He had some key scrambles. I think that against a team like Wyoming, which is not going to bring that as formidable of a defense, maybe the running backs get a few more touches, maybe a little more room to run. It certainly wouldn't expect me to take that long to get the running game going.
It just had a weird feeling to it today. Like, you just kind of kept waiting for the Ducks to kind of get into that rhythm, and it just never really happened. I believe at the half, like 134 of Oregon's 200 some odd total yards came on 2 plays. It was a 70 yards score to Devin Allen and a 64 yarder to Darren Carrington. So I think Oregon's going to be looking to get kind of everybody more involved there and not just kind of relying on that home run threat that they did during the first half today.
I think what big key for Wyoming is Oregon's secondary.
Definitely.
It was shredded tonight at times. I mean, they stiffened eventually, and Chris Cisse, a redshirt freshman, played pretty well. John Neal said, he didn't blink when he got thrown into his second career college game against the number 7 team in the country. But they want to obviously be better than that, be steadier than that. The inside linebacker play was pretty good tonight, but maybe they want to stick to a rotation with Joe Walker and Derek Malone inside. I thought special teams was pretty good. I don't know where you can go from there for Wyoming, but I don't know. Where do you think they need to improve?
Just a side note, a note on special teams. Charles Nelson is a beast.
Yeah.
There was that punt that he ended up getting a catch interference call on. The replays looked like he may have timed it up perfect, but for a guy who returned a kick for a touchdown last week to just a guy light, I think he had maybe 4 tackles on special teams today. That gets impressive. As for, what did you ask me?
What do you think needed to be improved for Wyoming on defense?
I think you hit the nail on the head with secondary there. I mean, I think they got to figure out what was going on with Dior Mathis today, because Michigan State receiver Tony Lippett was just owning him today.
Yeah.
Like they went after him before that. Like Oregon just was just like, we got to get him out of here and bring somebody in. But it wasn't just Mathis either. Even guys like Efo got beat a time or two, which was rare. And I think once they start kind of going into the Pac-12, which has a lot of very pass-happy offenses, they're going to need to square up on the secondary there.
And they'll need to also square up on red zone defense. Michigan State was 4 of 4 today. Oregon bent quite a bit. It didn't ultimately break, but keeping them out of that territory is pretty important. The lights have gone out on us here at Autzen Stadium. That's our cue to say so long until next week.